Precepting in a tiered skills acquisition model is a way of orienting that allows the orientation to adjust to the orientee's needs. Let me explain how it works. The preceptor and orientee work closely together, having a full patient assignment. Yes, right from day one, a full patient assignment. The orientee will follow the preceptor's schedule from the very beginning, and orientation will be broken up into tiers. The orientee will become responsible for a new set of skills during the progression of each tier. Rather than focusing on everything a nurse must do for one patient, it allows the orientee to focus on a certain skill. The full patient assignment enables the orientee to practice that skill numerous times. Once the skill is mastered, the orientee may move on to the next tier. Now remember, the preceptor and the orientee are one. Whenever either of them is doing something for the patient assignment, both parties should be present. The orientee will start with a low set of skills in the tiers. For example, the tier may consist of completing vital signs, assessments, and documentation of the assessment. This is the only part of the patient assignment the orientee is responsible for. The orientee will observe the preceptor managing the rest of the assignment. As the orientee does these tasks on the full patient assignment, the repetition allows them to be successful sooner than if they only did it one time on one patient. Once the orientee has mastered the skills in the first tier, they can be moved on by the preceptor to the second set of skills. Now the orientee will be responsible for all the skills in the first tier and the second tier, and the orientee will observe the preceptor managing the rest of the assignment. The process of adding skills by moving through the tiers continues throughout the orientation. The tiers have an average amount of shifts anticipated for the orientee to complete, but the best part is that the preceptor can move the orientee faster or slower through the tiers, depending on their assessment of the orientee's knowledge and performance. You would never move an orientee through a tier based on date only. The real measure of tier completion is orientee performance. If an orientee is moving more slowly through the tiers than expected, please notify the unit NES. Let's talk about some of the key advantages of a tiered skills acquisition model. First, the orientee gets exposure to many more patient experiences, procedures, tests, and different diagnoses because they get to see a full patient load every shift. Second, it allows the orientee to see the preceptor time manage and prioritize how to work with a full patient assignment. And third, it allows for individualization of the orientation, as the orientee can move on to the next tier as soon as mastery at the current level exists. A secondary advantage is that unit staffing is helped out, especially when you have multiple orientees, because they can each take a full assignment. Finally, we must talk about zero patient time, also called resource time, as it is a key to helping orientees develop their critical thinking skills, prioritization, and practicing with skills not seen on the patient care unit. This off-unit time is valued by both the orientee and the preceptors. It gives dedicated time to discuss concepts and activities away from the bedside. Throughout orientation, the orientee is responsible for keeping a notebook where they jot down any notes or questions. This zero patient time is a great time to review the orientee's notebook. Other activities they will complete during this time include reviewing orientation resource guides, stacking cards, basic and critical thinking scenarios, medication scenarios, concept maps, hands-on time for practicing skills, and maybe some search it or find it cards to help them navigate through the electronic environment. That covers the basics of the tiered skills acquisition model. It's a different way to look at orientation by having one orientee and one preceptor cover a full assignment throughout orientation.